Hey guys, welcome back to the All Things Adelaide 36ers podcast. Today I have a very special guest and I'm very happy to have him here. We have a new Adelaide 36er, Sunday Dech.
Thanks, Callum. Thanks for having me on your podcast. Obviously, we've met a couple of times and talked about, your involvement with the All Things Adelaide 36ers fan page, and then also just now starting the podcast. I think it's a really good initiative to connect the fans with the players on a more personal level.
Well, thank you very much, Sunday. For those who don't know, Sunday was a big fan of the fan page from day one. We signed him, made all the announcements and stuff, and he was right on the ball. So thank you very much, Sunday.
No worries at all.
My first question that I have for you is, how has Adelaide treated you so far? I know the last week has probably been not ideal for you and the 36ers with that little lockdown that we had in the Parafield cluster. But since then and first arriving Adelaide, how has Adelaide treated you?
Yeah, look, obviously I love Adelaide. I think I've only been here a short time, but I just see a lot of similarities to Perth where I grew up. It's small enough to get around. Everyone knows each other, and I think I've just been felt that I've been made welcome from the moment I got here. Just from everyone around the club and then everyone in the community as well. So besides that little lockdown, which I thought I saw the back end of in Melbourne, my time here so far has been nothing but unreal.
Oh, that's amazing. We thought we saw the back end of it as well, but unfortunately, that's what happened. So we live with it. Uh, Talking about your basketball history, before basketball, were there any other sports or that you were interested in? I saw in a podcast you did with Gibbo's one-on-one. You mentioned football in AFL. Was that something that you were considering?
Yeah, no, I grew up playing AFL, and obviously being from WA, it's a footy state.
Yep.
So it's kind of a rite of passage. You play AFL as a youngster, and I did that, and I think I was quite good as a youngster. Went through the ranks, and probably would have had a crack at the AFL if I'd stuck with it, but just the passion wasn't there. So I stopped playing when I was 15, and obviously I did all the outdoor sports like football, soccer, skateboarded and all that stuff. But yeah, I fell in love with basketball at 16, and that's all I've done ever since. So I'm glad I chose basketball that one summer, and just love it to death.
How close were you to playing professional football? It sounds like you got pretty close.
Oh well, look, I think there was a pathway there in Perth through Claremont, which I kind of followed. So in football, it's a little different to basketball. There's the AFL, and then obviously for us it's WAFL.
Yeah.
Here it's probably the South Australian Football League. There's those divisions underneath it, and then they've got kind of junior teams and junior ranks. And I was part of those junior ranks and making my way up the ladder, as you would say. And I think obviously with my athletic ability and ability to run all day, I think I would have had a crack. And I don't know, a few of my mates still play, and one of my good friends, Alir just signed with Port Adelaide, so I'm excited to get in here and kind of show him around a little bit, kind of being a newbie, and get to go to a lot of his games and stuff like that too.
Yeah, I follow football and I know who Alir is. How long have you known him?
We've known each other since we were kids. I think growing up in Perth, he's a massive basketball fan, and he's already hit me up for season tickets for when he gets here. And we kind of just met up on the courts one day when we were younger, and just played basketball at the rec centre near our houses back in Perth. And obviously he's a gun football player, and but he's also a really good basketball player, which people don't know that about him.
Wow, that's incredible. And you mentioned skateboarding. Is that a hobby you still participate in?
Oh no, right now I can't. Obviously with risk of injury and stuff like that. But no, I still love it. I think it's something I would do if I, in the off season and stuff like that when I've got a bit of downtime. But I think it's where I met a lot of my younger friends, roaming the streets of Perth on a skateboard, and kind of it's
Yeah,
helped me in basketball, I feel, with footwork and being able to have a quick feed and defend.
yeah. Wow. Oh, I wouldn't have put you as a skateboarder. I don't know many skateboarders, but I'm sure it's quite fun. I haven't bothered trying to ride a skateboard because of injury as well. I don't want to ruin the career that I never had. So
Yeah, it's a funny sport. It's obviously I think it's one that's outdoors and you're with your mates, but it's one that is an extreme sport. You would say, if one bad fall and you're done,
yeah,
it kind of limits you from a whole variety of other things and just daily life. But I don't know. I think kids, man, they're relentless and kind of they just have no
yeah.
regard for their bodies when they're younger, and I fell into that boat as well.
Oh, oh well. Um, was there any specific moment when you were younger playing basketball where you thought, okay, there might be something in it here for me. I might be able to pursue this as an actual career.
Yeah, really good question, Callum. I don't think there's one specific moment, to be honest. I think it's just when you look back on it now, it was a whole bunch of moments. But at the time, it's kind of what's next. I think
Mm,
everyone plays for the love of the game, and for me, being a late starter, I was always very goal orientated and trying to knock off milestones and knock off mini wins. And yeah, just kind of keeping my head down and focusing on the next thing led me to the next chapter and kind of evolved that
mm,
way. So yeah, I can't look back and be like, hey, look, this is what I want to do for a living one day. It was just I did it because I loved it, and I
yeah,
still
yeah,
do.
yeah,
Anything to do with basketball, I'm all about. So I hope for as long as I still feel that way, I'll still play the game. I think the day I don't have that drive anymore, don't have that passion, and it goes to something else.
yeah,
Hopefully, 15 years down the track, I'll look back and I'll be like, well, I've had a great career. But as of right now, it's all I do, and it's all I think about.
yeah. Well, it's good to hear. I'd love to see you still playing basketball when you're 50. I think that'd be a sight to see. How old are
Yeah,
you?
so mate, just cut out there, but you're back now.
Oh, I just I just said I'd love to see you playing basketball when you're 50. I think that'd be pretty interesting.
As look, you'll probably see me at the rec leagues,
Yeah.
chucking it up with some young bucks.
Um, how old were you when you first dunked?
Ooh, when I first dunked, I was 17 years old. So
17.
yeah, like I said, started when I was 16 and a bit.
Mm.
And then, I think as a kid, dunking is just the ultimate goal. That's all you
Yeah,
want to do.
yeah,
And,
yeah,
I just kept working out and working out. And then a couple months down the track, I was dunking, and yeah, I just would have just turned 17 or just before my 17.
yeah. Right. How tall are you? Because I've seen a lot of places, a lot of different places about your height. It seems to be pretty up in the air about how tall you are exactly. So are you like 6'3", 6'3"
Look,
and a bit?
height's a controversial thing in basketball. I think it goes to, do you measure yourself with shoes, without
Oh,
shoes?
yeah,
Who's doing the measurement? There's a whole bunch of different factors, but can confirm with shoes on, I'm 6'4".
damn. Okay, that's good. That's
Yeah.
do you consider yourself more of a point guard or a shooting guard, or what do you like to play more in that role?
Yeah. I mean, I think personally, I don't think I have a position. I think I play a lot of different positions. Bit of a utility guy that does it all.
Yeah,
In Illawarra last year, I had to place a lot of the one when Mello went down with an injury and Emmett Nah did. In Perth, I did so the same, but
yeah,
I think my natural position's on the wing, at the 2-3. Um, but obviously, in the game of basketball, you have to be versatile. And I think adding those point guard skills into my repertoire, helps me on the court because
mm,
coach can
definitely.
play me at the one, extended minutes because I've done that before, at the 2 or at the 3. So I'm not really too fussed. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think any position that gets me on the court and keeps me out there is the one I like.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, definitely. Where did you get your basketball start in Perth? Was there any state leagues that you played? I did see some state league mentioned on your Wikipedia page when I did my little bit of research before this. So
Yeah.
so what was that like? And what team was it?
Yeah, my junior club's the East Perth Eagles.
Yeah,
That was the one down the road from the house. Easily
yeah,
accessible,
yeah,
and
yeah.
could always get on the court. And yeah, so I played under 18s Division Two was when I first started.
Hmm.
Then the following year I played under 20s and then the SBL, so the men's state league team. And got to give credit to all my coaches when I was younger, but one especially is Coach Adam Ford. He's an assistant with the Sydney Kings right now. He's the one that's been with me through my basketball journey since the second or third week I started playing. And, he's
Wow,
coached me right throughout. And I wouldn't be here today without him. I think he's constantly pushed me and driven me to continually get better and, aim for goals. I think that's one thing that we do a lot. And I talk to him every day. I think that's something
wow.
we still talk about now. Um, what are my next goals? What are the next things I, want to check off and attack? So yeah, without him, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Yeah, wow, that's incredible. He seems to be a great mentor for you. It seems to have gotten you where you are, so that's pretty good. How did you feel like playing in that state league helped with your personal development basketball wise?
Well, at the time, our East Perth team was really stacked. We had a really good team. We had likes of guys who played in the NBL, who were fringe NBL, or guys, who were in the NBL at the time. So very talented team. And just being one of the younger guys, I was able to learn a lot, and soak in a lot of information. And one of the biggest things I'd learned was just the ability to compete.
Yeah,
Because on that team, nothing was given. There weren't any minutes just handed out to you. It was, you had to earn everything. And that was kind of the edge, and Adam Ford 40
yeah,
instilled that into the team. And me personally, I think, he understood my potential at the time when I didn't. So he kind of pushed me and drove me pretty hard to continually get better. And I guess at the end of the day, just the things I took away from those guys was how to be a professional, how
yeah,
to show up every single day, put in the work, and then putting in the extra work. Because, I guys like Jared Balcom, who was a development player for the Wildcats at the time, Kyle Armour had signed with Sydney, and then, was back in the state league. Drew Williamson had played for the Wildcats, and Joe Allen, who'd won 5 SPL championships. So I was going up against those guys every day, and I think just being able to front up day in and day out kind of helped my progression and maturation in the scheme of the basketball world.
yeah. Did you feel like playing there helped you to get your first development player contract? That, that
Yeah, no, it definitely did. So what had happened was I was Coach Trevor Gleason's first year, 2013, and we had a game in Bunbury, and he was scouting Tom Jervis to come be an injury replacement for Matt Knight that year, to sign him. So he came down and was watching Tom play, and it was my first year in the SBL. I think we're only a couple games in, and obviously I've always been a great defender, and that's what I was back then too. So I was a defender, catch and shoot, and if I got it, I just ripped and got to the rim. But while he was watching Tom play, he saw me and saw my abilities. Obviously long arms, was quick, could run, could jump, and stay in front of guys. So
yeah, yeah,
yeah, he brought me down to the development player trials and kind of went through that process, and yeah, was selected a couple weeks down the track. And I think that getting my foot into that door kind of opened my eyes even more, because then I was surrounded by Damian Martin, Greg High, Sean Redditch at the time, the ultimate professionals and guys who knew what it took to win at the NBL level, and who'd been professionals for 10 plus years at the time.
yeah. Well, it would have been amazing being around them for sure. Um, how did it feel when you first signed that development player contract? And at the time, was going to the NBL a dream of yours?
At the time, it wasn't a dream. I think, like I talked about earlier, it's just something that, I was ticking off milestones, and I didn't expect to be there at that time. But I found myself there and kind of just had to put my head down and keep working. And obviously, once I got there, then it became a goal of mine to make the team, then make the rotation, go through those steps.
Yeah.
But no, I think signing that contract it felt awesome for a little bit, but it was the start of the work. Now you're expected to be a professional. Now you're expected to front up every day. They didn't buy the excuse, oh, he's just a young guy. No, you're expected to put in the work, and you're expected to know your role and do your role to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
And getting that lesson early on in my basketball career really shaped who I was when I went to college and when I came back. I think that's something I still carry with me every day. I think because I'm learning from the ultimate professionals every single day at a young age. And, I think when I went to college, I was able to be a leader and kind of being like, hey, look, I've been with guys who have done it at a high level. So this is what we need to do if we want to be great. And then
Yeah.
obviously when I came back, I signed back and stuff like that.
Yeah. You touched on a college. How was that college experience?
Yeah, college was unreal. I loved it. Obviously, I went to Metro State for 2 years and then Barry my senior year. It was unreal. I think it was just an opportunity to be able to play because obviously being a development player, you don't see a lot of court time. You put in all the work, but you don't get to play. So that was my opportunity to get out there and show what I could do on a night in, night out basis. And I loved it. I learned a lot, experienced a lot, and just made a lot of great friendships that are lifelong. And that's something I'll remember, and I still keep in contact with those guys to this day. I was just speaking to one of my Metro teammates, Shane, just earlier today, and then called one of my Barry roommate, Elvar, who's in Slovakia right now playing for his national team. So
Wow.
just those relationships are something that is special to me. And you've got lifelong friends all over the world through obviously having experienced college together.
Yeah. Wow. That's very impressive. That you're still keeping in touch with them. Not long after signing with the Wildcats, you won your first championship. What was winning that first championship like?
Mixed emotions, to be honest. I think obviously it felt cool because we'd accomplished the goal that we'd all worked so hard to achieve. But then at the same time, I felt like I didn't really contribute to the championship in a sense.
Okay.
So, obviously it's cool and the rings are still at my mum's house, but, that's not something that, I'm going to carry with me. I think it's something that I want to win one here in Adelaide. And I think that will be even more special because, I'm on the team and I'll play a huge role in winning that championship. And at the end of the day, that's what we want to do as basketball players, right? We want to be out there when the final bell rings and you guys are the champions.
Yeah. Would you say that a lot of the other 36ers players have that same goal in mind of doing everything they can to win that championship and bring one to the city of Adelaide?
Oh, absolutely. I think, I had a moment the other day. I was just on the practice court and I looked around before training and everyone's shooting or everyone is doing something to become a better basketball player. And that's before training.
Yeah.
I think just having that culture and having guys bought in and just having one goal, which is to win. I think we know the history of the 36ers and how they won a lot in the 90s, and there's been a really big drought as of recently. I think our team has a chance, and I think we've turned a new page and we've got an opportunity to do something special. And it starts every day on the practice court, and guys are showing up and putting in the work. So we can't wait for the season to get underway. Obviously, the 2 practice games were awesome, but at the end of the day, they're just still practice games. We want the real thing, and I want to be able to play weekly games in front of the Adelaide fans who are really passionate, and they put in a lot into it as well. It's not just the players and the staff, but it's the fans as well. We want to put on a show for them.
Oh, 100%. I'm quite confident about this year's team. I'll touch on the practice games a bit later. But what I've seen so far, I think it's extremely promising. Um, After you came back from college, you played more state basketball, and then you were with the Wildcats again, winning that second championship. Did you feel like you contributed more to that second championship?
Yeah, definitely. I think that year I signed as a training player, not knowing what would happen. So had to be ready at any given moment. And it was kind of, it was really cool because it was, uh, you know, lessons in controlling what you can control, and you didn't know where you're going to suit up that game. But obviously, I'll end up playing a lot of games that year and contributed a lot on the court. And
Yeah,
I think had a really good finals campaign against Brisbane, which led on to other things. And I didn't play against Melbourne in the championship, but I think that semi-finals, I was able to play a lot and showcase what I could do to
mm.
Illawarra, who ended up signing me the following year.
I was just about to touch on that Hawks signing, but I've always been very interested about what goes on into the signing of like when you sign with a new team, if you're like a free agent, for example. I always like to know what other teams were considering players. So before you signed with the Hawks, were there any other teams that had a strong interest in you, or are there any teams that you had strong interest in?
Yeah, there was actually. There was, a lot of interest in me. Obviously, a lot of people hadn't seen me play extended minutes, but from the glimpses they did see, they liked, and they reached out and obviously spoke with my agent at the time, and we went through that process. And kind of, you got to go through the pros and cons of each team, who they have on their roster, who's returning,
Yeah.
where you see yourself and where the team inevitably sees you.
Hmm.
Obviously, there's a lot into that recruiting process, but sitting down with my agent and the people closest to me, we felt Illawarra was the best opportunity for me to play and showcase what I could do, which is just what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I wanted to get out there and play as many minutes as I could, and develop and just show what I could do. Because at the end of the day, you can train all you want, but you really learn in the games when
Yeah.
you've got to make in-game adjustments, and you're learning in the real thing. Because practice is all right, but yeah, once again, you just want to go out there under the bright lights and play in front of fans and show what you can do there. So Illawarra was the perfect fit for me, and at the time, and yeah, that's the direction we went down.
Are you allowed to name any other teams that you were considering signing with?
No, not right now. I think obviously I was considering going back to Perth. That was a really big reality. I was comfortable. Perth's home, very familiar with the system. I'd been in it for a very long time, and I knew exactly what was going on. But then at the same time, I wanted to experience something new,
Yeah.
something exciting, and something challenging. So yeah, decided to sign with the Hawks that year.
Yeah, that's all right. Um, Last season with the Hawks, would you consider that a breakout sort of year? Because I know for me personally, I don't want to sound rude or anything, but I'd never heard of you before, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want to sound rude, but when you played that game against the 36ers at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre where you guys beat us, that was when I knew who Sunday Dech was. So would you consider last season a bit of a breakout year?
Well, no, not really. I think for there to be a breakout, you've got to kind of not have that high expectations of yourself. I knew I could always play. Just needed the opportunity to be able to showcase it. And I think last year was the perfect storm. I think we had a lot of injuries, and which gave opportunity to other guys like myself, Angus, Emmett, to be able to play more minutes
Yep.
and show what we could do. Obviously, Angus, really good friends, and he's signed in Sydney now because of it. And
Yep.
for me personally, like, I always knew I could do all of that, and I just needed an opportunity to play. I think, and that was what happened last year. So I'm very grateful for it. But yeah, I guess a breakout year is something when, obviously, like you said, you hadn't heard of me, but yeah, like I said, I knew what I could do, and I was just ready to go. And I think this year I'll be even more ready. I've had a long off season and just raring to go.
Yeah, Well, yeah, I consider it a breakout year because you played great. You played very well. You ended up being nominated for Most Improved Player of the Year and nominated for Defensive Player of the Year. Um, are awards like that something you set a goal for throughout the season, or are they just something that happens and are a recognition of your hard work throughout the season?
A bit of both. I think first and foremost, you have to try to be the best you can be and the best on your team. So whatever your role is, you got to try to be the best on your team at it.
Mhm.
And through that body of work comes the league recognition. So I think I was fortunate enough to be nominated for two major awards. Most improved was a byproduct of obviously not playing a lot the previous year and playing more and kind of showing a bit more body of work night in and
Yeah.
night out. And the defensive player of the year award, I guess, I pride myself defensively and being able to go out there and um, hassle and harass the other team's best guards, and I was able to do it on a more consistent basis. So that's something an area I still want to improve in, both offensively and defensively. And I'm excited because we've got great systems here and got an opportunity to be able to keep growing in both departments this coming season with Coach Henry and the 36ers.
Is that a goal that you've set for the next season to be nominated again or potentially a win?
Yeah, definitely. No, I definitely want to win Defensive Player of the Year. I think I've
Mm.
got a great opportunity now that Damo's retired. Everyone's got a good crack at doing so. But no, I think it'll be good to win the Damian Martin Trophy, seeing as I started under him and
Yeah.
he taught me a lot of tricks of the trade and yeah, so that would be fitting way to have my first season with the 36ers.
Was he a big mentor for you when talking about defense when you were as a development player for the Wildcats?
Yeah, he was. I think just on leadership, defense, being selfless, they're all attributes that Damo, carries very proudly. And, there's stuff that he taught me. And there's a lot of tricks to it. It's not just, staying in front of the guy, but, where's your hand positioning? Where's your feet? Where do you want to pressure and where do you want to back off? There's a lot of all that stuff that goes into it. And he was the best at it, and one of the best at steals and getting offensive rebounds. So that's something that hopefully I can do at a high level this year and continue in years to come.
I've got no doubt that you'll probably be nominated again. You were very impressive last year, so I'm sure you'd be able to continue that over to this season. Now, I'm sure you get asked this a lot, but LaMelo Ball,
Yeah.
you were teammates with him last year on the Hawks. I've been following him. I've been watching the Ball brothers since 2016 when they first came on to the scene. So when he was announced that he was coming to Australia, obviously there was a big hype around it. Um, how did you find out that LaMelo Ball was coming to the Hawks? And had you already known of him and followed the Ball brothers as such?
I hadn't followed the Ball brothers. I'd followed Lonzo through college because he was there the same time I was, and he was a great college player, and that's someone that we watch pretty often when they're on TV and stuff.
Yeah.
Knew a little bit about LaMelo through Instagram and stuff, but didn't really know much about him. We found out the week of the signing, a couple of days before. Coach Flynn called us all and kind of just told us what was going on behind the scenes and that I had to be pretty quiet because obviously with all the media storm and everything coming.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's how we found out. And when he came out, obviously we anticipated one thing because obviously reality TV's
Yeah.
a whole different world in America.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a legend. We loved him and everything he was about. And you know, uh, the media portray him one way, and he was completely opposite. He was very engaged about the boys. Loved basketball, and yeah, I became really close with him, and ended up we worked out nearly every day together before he got hurt. So yeah, my experience with him was unreal, and so happy for him that he got drafted. I spoke to
Mhm.
him the night before he got drafted, and obviously just wishing him good luck and stuff, and just talking banter like we did, and I think we formed a really good relationship because we're roommates on the road too. So
Yeah.
he was able to, we talked a lot, and he was able to explain what his life was like back in America, and how his world works, because it is a different world, and something that, yeah, I know, I hope I don't have to experience, because it would be very tiring.
Yeah, well, like he's younger than me. You know, he's 18. I'm 19. It must have been insane, and like us, you know, he's a big name. When he came here, it was all the media attention, and but was he what was he like as a player on and off the court? You know, is he what the media portrays? Is he a big rock star, big celebrity sort of thing, or is he very down to earth sort of kid?
No, he's very down to earth. He's still a kid, and being his roommate, I got to experience a lot of things firsthand with him. There's a lot of things that he kind of didn't know or wasn't exposed to, and through no fault of his own, I think his management had kind of shielded him, and the lifestyle he had shielded him from that. But no, he was super approachable. I think the fans in Illawarra loved him. You could see him on the street, and he would make time for anyone and everyone. So he was awesome in that regard, and just how he handled the media was unreal, because everywhere we went there was a media storm, and he
Yeah,
handled it perfectly, which kind of leads him to the NBA now, where he's gonna have that maybe tenfold.
mm,
So yeah, I think I'm very happy I got to know him, and very grateful I did too, because he's a great kid, and makes times for his friends and his close people.
yeah.
So
With the late night workouts with him, I've seen some footage of that. Were they a regular thing? Something you enjoyed?
yeah, yeah, they were. So early on, they were really frequent, and up until he got hurt, and then they became less and less. Obviously, managing his injury and stuff. But no, we worked out a lot late night, and because I was the only time we could get into the gym. The Snake Pit had men's competition, and they finished at 10. So 10 o'clock was the time we could get in, and until whatever time. So they were pretty frequent, and I think JJ's manager's a great trainer. Played
Yeah,
in the NBA all throughout Europe, and had a lot of different things that I was able to learn and pick his brain from, and just being in there, blasting music, playing basketball with your mates. What
mm,
better, what more could you want?
exactly. Did you ever meet his dad, LeVar?
Twice actually. Not for long. He came out for Melo's first game,
Mhm.
and just said hello to the whole team. Dapped him up, but then he came out at Christmas as well. I think, yeah, just to be with him, but they were the only two times. He was pretty hands off, and kind of, yeah, stayed away from Melo and his basketball while the season was going on.
Yeah. Um, got any cheeky, funny stories about Lamelo that you think you'd be able to share?
Not really. He was very low key. We didn't go out much. Didn't do a lot of things, but we were in New Zealand one time when we stepped out to Woolworths, or Countdown as they call it, to
Count.
get some snacks. And I've never seen it. Like, a fully grown man was just starstruck, and he's like, "Oh my God, you're LaMelo Ball." Took a photo with him, called his family, and they ran up, and like, he wouldn't let us go until his family was there to take a photo with him. And I'm just like, Jesus. I felt bad. I didn't want to leave him, so I stayed
Yeah,
to back. But I'm just like, man, I don't know how you deal with that. But that's just one of the many instances that happen often throughout the season last year, and one that we're going to look back on. I look back now, and I'm just like, wow, what a crazy season that
yeah.
was.
Did they know who you were, that family?
Oh no, not at all.
Oh,
Just think, another player playing against the Breakers.
oh. Did you? I don't know if this will sound bad. Did you ever feel like that his popularity and his media attention took away from other players on the Hawks team? That exposure sort of thing?
No, not really. I guess it gave more exposure to us.
Oh
We
yeah.
weren't doing that well on the court, but we're on ESPN every night. We're on primetime TV on
Mm.
all the
Yeah, true.
Friday, Saturday night games. So I guess it gave us a lot more exposure. Um, but me personally, I don't mind. I like to think I'm pretty low key, and
Yeah.
kind of all that stuff doesn't phase me. At the end of the day, I just want to play and win games. So
Oh, for
the
sure.
media comes, if not, it doesn't really matter.
Oh, for sure. Now your original Hawks contract was a 2-year deal, but
Yeah.
the Hawks liquidated and your
Mhm.
contract was voided. And that's how you signed with the 36ers. What factors brought you to the 36ers? What sort of was it the play style, the city? Like what put Adelaide on your map as a destination to sign with?
Yeah, that's a great question. Obviously, when our contracts got voided and free agency hit, there was a lot of factors, and like I talked about earlier, pros and cons you got to weigh up. And I think um, having a new coach was exciting. I'd heard a lot of great things about him, Coach Henry, and having a fresh-faced team as well was really
Mm,
cool. One that's young and hungry and wants to win games. So I knew coming here that guys would be putting in the work to try and get better.
yeah,
And guys trying to win a lot of games. So that was really enticing. And I think um, obviously my role on the team as well. Um, getting a bigger role was a
mm,
big factor for me, and to contribute more to winning. And then obviously the last one was just the 2 games we had here last year. I really enjoyed it. I think we won one and lost one close.
yeah,
It was a close game the second time.
yeah,
But the fans were really into it. It was a great atmosphere here, and I think it was a really cool place to play, and that kind of gave me a sense that basketball here is loved, and it's a great sport. So they're probably the 3 ones that factored in, and then last but not least was just being able to play with my childhood friend Keanu. So
yeah.
that's
I
yeah, that
was
was the tipping point there at the end, and yeah, I was really excited about that.
Yeah, I was gonna mention Keanu. Um, but firstly, have you been able to step onto the entertainment center as a 36er? And how did you playing for the Hawks feel like the entertainment center was as a stadium, as a court, as an arena sort of thing?
Yeah, so we played a charity game and a preseason game against Brisbane there
Yeah, yeah,
a week and a half ago, and that was unreal. I think it was cool just to be able to play in front of fans again. Grant, the owner,
yeah,
Beth, Coach Henry, and Ben, the whole staff did a great job in putting that together. I think we don't have those games if they're not working behind the scenes. So we thank them and the Brisbane Bullets as well for being able to come out here. And
mm,
we know that they had to quarantine when they went back. So that's something that you don't want to do. But yeah, we thankful to them. The arena's unreal. I think it's one of the best in the NBL in terms
yeah,
of court and atmosphere. Some smaller scale, but similar to Sydney, I feel, the Sydney Arena.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's great atmosphere, and I think the fans here really know their basketball and they understand what's going on.
yeah.
So that's something that's going to be enjoyable once we do get fans out and about.
Don't know why I asked that question. Have you been on there? Because I was at the charity game and I was at those games, so I don't know why I asked. But anyway,
Oh, good.
um, Keanu Pinder, longtime friend, I believe.
Yeah.
You basically answered my question. I was going to ask, was him signing with the 36ers a factor? And yes, it was. Um, can you expand more on the friendship and history between you and Keanu?
Yeah, definitely. So Keanu grew up playing footy as well, and he played for a rival district. So I played in the Claremont district, and he played for East Perth, I assume. And um, I think we played one game of footy against each other when we were younger, and that came to fruition when I started playing basketball and joined the East Perth Eagles, which was his junior club too. So I rocked up and I was like, this guy looks familiar. And then, we ended up talking, and he's like, yeah, I played for this team. And I was like, oh, I think I remember you. Like, didn't know each other, but I remembered him. And then our friendship grew from there because obviously we found out we lived 5 minutes down the road from each other.
Damn.
Same junior club. He was under 18s a year below me, but we worked out together all the time and was at the gym together daily. So ended up playing in the same state team and then SBL team when we both came back from college. So we just stayed in touch throughout the years. And when he was over there, he was trying to get me to go as JUCO when he went over before me, but I was like, oh no, I'll stay here. I think things are going well. And then I ended up signing in Metro, and he went to Arizona, and we just talked weekly. So that friendship goes back many years, and he hasn't changed a bit. So it's like we're still childhood friends and still guys who just love playing basketball. It feels like we're back at East Perth, chucking the ball up again, but obviously this time for the 36ers.
Yeah, what was that conversation like when he signed with us and you were a free agent? Did he chuck you heaps of messages saying come to Adelaide sort of thing?
Oh yeah, he was calling nonstop. He's like, man, you better come. If you don't, I'll take this personally. But I was like, hey, look, there's a process we have to go through here, and I'll go through it, and we'll talk soon. But I think he kind of knew that I was leaning towards Adelaide for sure.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he's very happy to have you here. You guys housemates?
Yeah, we are. We're living together. He's just upstairs finishing off some homework now as well.
Oh, that's cute. Um, so far this off season, besides Keanu Pinder, who has impressed you the most?
Everyone actually. I think everyone's come back better than they were last year and hungrier. But I think Giddy's been awesome. I worked out with him a lot in Melbourne, so I knew what he could do. Isaac Humphries is looking really good. I think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. But DJ, I think he's probably the one that's impressed me the most. Just his ability to be able to score from anywhere and everywhere. And that's he does everything at practice. So he shoots a one-leg fading shot that you think is missing, but it's money. And that's one of the shots he works on. So when it happens in games, people are like, what is this? But he works on it and he shoots it often. So yeah, he's been unreal. But I think the whole team's really hungry, and we can't wait to get out there on the court mid January, hopefully, if we start on time.
The charity match, you touched on it before. How fun was that? Was it like to be just on the court again and playing some sort of basketball, but just like doing it for Cooper and the charity side of it, and just having fun with your teammates?
Yeah, it was unreal. It was a really good experience, and I think a lot of us haven't played a game since February. So first time in 8 months getting on a court in front of fans, and having substitutions, having a game day atmosphere. So that was unreal. And you touched on it, to do it for a special cause for Cooper, who's one of the bravest and toughest kids I've ever met. To be 11 years old and have the confidence to say, hey, look, I want to get my leg amputated, and and carry on. Like, life is unreal. He talks about he comes around the group often, and we're really fortunate to have him there. So the game was unreal, and we're really happy that it was a success and it went the way it did. And once again, that stuff doesn't just happen. I think you got to thank everyone involved behind the scenes that puts that together. To make Cooper's night special, and also have the players have a game night atmosphere again.
Yeah. Did you guys have a competition between the team to see who could hit the deepest three? Because some of you guys were just chucking it up, and it was insane. Like Keanu, for example, there was one that he hit, and it was like almost from half court, and it was insane. And I'm pretty sure you were chucking up a few as well, and they were going in as well. So like, was it because it was just a fun charity match? You guys were just having fun?
Yeah, just a charity match. We're having a lot of fun out there, and we did have a inside bet to see who could sink the furthest shot. So Kaz won that one. But in a game, we probably won't be doing that unless it's end of the shot clock or end of halftime.
Yeah, I mean, it was very impressive though. Like a lot of them, a lot of them were so deep, and then some of them went in as well, which was crazy. Um, First two proper preseason games between the Bullets. How did it feel to go onto the court properly?
Felt great. First time in a long time we've been on the court, like I touched on before, and to do it against another NBL team was even better.
Mm,
I think we you kind of take those games for granted throughout the season, but
yeah.
to have that period of time without basketball was really frustrating and one that we didn't know would happen again. So when we got told that we had practice games, we're really happy about it, and it felt good. It felt like game night atmosphere, and you get excited when you're up. You get down when Brisbane go on a run. Just to have those emotions again was unreal. So we were planning to have a few more of those, but with the COVID scare now, we don't know. So we're still waiting to hear back from our management and the coaches to see what's the next plan of attack. So, but first and foremost is the safety of the players and
Mm,
everyone out there.
mm.
So once we get that underway, then I'm sure they'll organise something.
Yeah, I was pretty hopeful that we would have more after those weekend games, and then all that stuff happened. So you guys are pretty lucky. Okay, you guys are
Yeah, no,
pretty lucky.
no, we're definitely lucky. One of the only two teams in the NBL to be able to play a preseason game. So fortunate, and I think it was a bit of a trial run too to see how everything played out, and it was a success. Besides the COVID scare that wasn't related to the games, and yeah, there's another one today. So hopefully they can manage that, and we
Mm.
can get some more underway before the season starts mid-January. If not, we're training hard and we're getting ready to kick off the season.
All right. Well, I've come to my main questions. I do have a few little quick fire questions that I like to quickly ask. Um,
Yeah.
what's your favorite band or musical artist?
Favorite band or musical artist? Great question. Um, I'll give you a top three because I can't narrow it down to one. So Anderson Park, Drake, of course, and right now Little Dirk.
Little Dirt. Okay. Do you have any pets?
No, I don't.
What car do you drive?
Audi.
And last but not least, is Sunday your favorite day of the week?
Every day Sunday.
And my last question that I have is if you could pick two teammates to help you survive in the zombie apocalypse, who would it be?
One's definitely Keanu because he plays that game every day, so he'd know exactly what to do. Um, and then another one, I need someone with some medical skills just in case anything happens. Ooh. Are they current or ex teammates?
Current.
Current. All right. Um, and probably Dan Dillon because he's the oldest, so he's had a lot of life experience. He'd know what to do.
Oh, that's a bit harsh. Oh.
Nah, we joke all the time that he's the old man of the group.
Now, shout out to Dan Dillon. I swear, even though he's the oldest person on the court, he's the fastest person on the court. He's so
Yep.
fast.
Still got the Jets.
It's the only thing I took out of those preseason games was how fast Daniel Dillon was. He's insanely fast. Unreal.
No,
Um,
he might be old, but he's still got the legs for sure.
he does. Well, that's all my questions. So I'll let you go Sunday. Again, big thank you for coming on the podcast. I really, really appreciate it. And yeah, I hope you had a good time and had some fun answering some questions.
No, I appreciate it, Callum. It was awesome chatting to you and chatting all things 36ers. And obviously, I'm really excited for the season ahead and for what we can produce. But yeah, keep pushing out content, mate. We're definitely watching.